Everybody, bonjour tout le monde. Ceci va être en anglais, je reviens en français après. So hello everyone. I was just saying in French that I'll be back after in French, and it's to give you a little bit of an update. I haven't been online very much since we've came back from Ottawa, and for good reason, actually for health reasons. So I'm starting to feel a lot better, and hopefully this, now that the heat has subsided, it was like 41 degrees for 3 to 4 days here, and that doesn't help very much. So anyways, now it's really nice and cool. So I decided to sit outside and you know, not 2 inches from the air conditioner. So anyways, bonsoir, Christian. Hello. So anyways, I'm just trying this new program, and I wanted to just make sure that I would be able to uh, put some things in here. There we go. Now we've got a ticker tape. Now I've finally found how to use this. But anyways, what we succeeded in doing in Ottawa, even though we weren't that many, good thing we have a lot of signatures, but we still don't have quite enough to do this on our own yet. So without needing anything else. So we still need people to sign the Convention of Consent. You need to get as many as possible and help us to be able to now continue on to segment 2 from Ottawa. Ottawa was, I should say, segment 3, because our first one was the letter to the UK stating that we needed a correction in the Constitution, and that should be just pressure and maybe one or two legal battles to force them to do that. But really, it's our right to do so, and the laws are there for us. So everything that we do is in regards to law, and making sure that the government can't renege on anything or anybody else. However, the people need to add the pressure, and we need your help for that. We also need your help for legal fees. This is not just one or two lawyers, this is going to be many lawyers on both sides. And as you can hear the noise behind me, hopefully that wasn't too loud. But with the lawyers, we need to get them going. So I'm not going to be that much on live streaming. So because I need to be able to deal with the European time zones. So that means 3 a.m. in the morning, my day is going to start there. Well, actually before that. So my time schedule is all going to be mixed up for a while. But the others will be there. And if you have any questions, just send an email to contact at thepowershift.ca. But what we've done is, the first part was the letter to the UK. Second part was going to Ottawa. And the whole 2 weeks was really strenuous, because we were going back and forth with the Ottawa police and the RCMP. And they tried their best to make sure that we might change our minds, and they tried to get us to change our minds from going over there. They were threatening, to have the area locked down, and to have heavy police presence there. So I made sure that they understood what our rights were and what their rights are, and the government has to understand that as well. So we went in there ready. We even had insurance. We had to get insurance to be able to do some fundraising, as well as insurance for the hill. So we had that, and we were well prepared, I'll tell you that. The only thing we weren't prepared for was actually being on the hill, and having a chance to talk to the people before, after setting up. And so it happened before setting up, so things were kind of a little bit haywire. We've met a lot of people from across Canada. I was amazed that so many came out from both sides of the continent, or of Canada, not the continent, but of Canada, to come and see us. And that was really special. And to see people face to face makes a huge difference than seeing them on a Zoom, or, any other social media. So anyways, I'm just going to look here to see who's in the chat. And, again, the help, we got some help. And the most beautiful part was seeing the people sign their conventions of consent online on Parliament Hill for 3 days. And to me, that was like, wow. I mean, they can't say they don't know, right? And so this is a right that we have with the Indigenous nations, and finally we can change history and change what's coming if we don't do anything. So hopefully, you know, um, we'll be able to get the people involved. But right now, our battle with the government or in the UK to make a correctional change, and for the Canadian government to assist us, because when we file, when we state that we are actually moving forward, and it's serious that we are moving forward with a collective self-determination with the Indigenous Canadian peoples and the Indigenous nations together, to make sure that we have the right to self-determination and whatnot. Both sides have that right. The nations do have collective rights, just that in Canada, the Canadian government doesn't recognize our collective rights. So we're going to show them that, yes, the law is on our side. We're going to enforce this. And the hardest part is not them. The hardest part is Canadian citizens, the people themselves. So, that's the hardest part. So I won't be dealing so much with the people right now. It'll be, I'm going to be dealing with the legal side of things, the lawyers and the UK lawyers, so that we can have quite a few of them and ready for everything, because we need to be ready for anything that they'll come at us. And this is why it was so strenuous beforehand going to Ottawa, because every time it's okay, well, this is good, you'll be able to do your fundraising, and then they'd come around, at the last minute and say, oh no, you can't, and then you'll need this and you'll need that. So now, how can I say, we went through it. We know what to expect, and now we just move on to the third part, which is putting everything in motion. And we need you to help us put everything in motion. And again, it'll take more than from how can I say, from now on, now we move forward into the self-determination aspect of everything. It's been initiated right on Parliament Hill for 3 days with people signing their conventions, and that's what we wanted to prove to them. Even though there weren't that many, there was more than enough to be able to send the message. And then with all the other ones that we've got signed, but again, that gives us legal standing in court, just not enough to say, hey, here's your 51% of signatures, and now things change. So anyways, we have to get the UN rapporteur involved in regards to our political and civil rights. And so anyways, I'll be communicating with them this week and next week, as well as getting the Indigenous side ready for their letters to the UK as well, and to the UN, so that they see that we're moving forward with this, and both sides understand what's going to happen, which is only getting our names. Instead of the Queen and the government to be in charge, it will be we, the people, the Canadian citizens, and the Indigenous nations on each side of the two wampum as equal partners in our Constitution. So it's high time that changed. Pierre Elliott Trudeau self-determined us in 1982, but said that the people, we were keeping parliamentary democracy, which only changes one type of imperialism to another. And this is what I call corporate imperialism, because, if you look at Justin Trudeau, everybody blames Justin. It's not just Justin Trudeau, it's the entirety of the political party system that we need to blame. And all in cahoots. There's enough proof of that over the last 40 years, or even before that, actually since the 1970s. So they've been trying to really steal our country and our resources from us and to control us. And now the time has come that we need to say it's enough. So if you want to save this country and save your children and protect this country for your children for the rest of their lives, and to make sure that we have true freedom, because true freedom is only when we have the final say. And I can't stress this enough. Only by having final say do you have true freedom. Okay, so one way or the other, that's what it is. To just scream freedom, you'll get nowhere. To do protests, you get nowhere. You need to have a plan, and this is, at least we have a plan. We have two ways of getting this done legally, and but we need the people to stand by us. So I just received an email a while ago with a gentleman asking me to look at his constitution that he's written for one of the provinces. And I had to answer, well, good luck with that, technically, no offense. But the provinces, to begin with, the coup d'etat that was created in 1931 and 1982 was to included maintaining the provinces as though they were separate, with separate constitutions, separate laws, and everything else. And that's BS, because a Canadian is a Canadian across this country. An Indigenous person is an Indigenous person that has rights across this country. They're not bound by just short territories. The Indigenous nations are bound to Turtle Island, not Canada, not the United States, and not Mexico, but it includes all three. So they are Canadian and U.S. citizens and Mexican citizens, as well as the citizens of Turtle Island, which is who they truly are. So you need to understand all of this stuff. So I suggested to this gentleman that he, look at the people's rights. So no, I will repeat this again. No province can separate, for the simple reason that every Canadian citizen has the right to vote on that issue. And that's what was determined in Quebec, for Quebec, back in the 80s and 90s. So, it's a waste of time. It's crazy to even speak about it. All it shows is that the people don't know their laws, don't know their rights, don't know anything about how to do this. So you can't separate a province, and nor should a province have its own separate constitution, because the constitution, the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, our charter supersedes the provincial charter, and as well as our international human rights also supersede our charter. Okay, and that's how that works when the government has signed on to agreements at the international level. So everything that the government has signed on to, even the World Health, and this is what I want to talk to you about actually, is the fact that the World Health cannot override our human rights, our international human rights. And in those rights, we are protected from being forced to take any type of treatment or anything inside our bodies without, they can't do that to us without our consent. And they have to have written consent. Okay. So, and that you have to understand exactly what's in there and what it could do and what are the dangers of it. And none of that was ever done with the last couple of years. So, the government is going to be, how can I say, in doo-doo, okay, in every step of the way, because this comes directly from the WHO, the World Health Organization. So public health and every corporation that enforce what the Liberal government stated, okay, in these regulations and fake emergency measures and all of these things. Now we have a chance to take them to court and to really show the proof, and that they had no business doing what they did, and to separate this country the way they have, and for people to have committed suicide and everything else that happened. We can take them to task on that one. So that's why we need your help. Everything that we have done is in the legal sense, where we can actually make the law work for us, and but we can only do that if the people stand behind us. By signing a convention, becoming a member of the C.P.U, and passing the word around, getting as many people to sign as possible. Children 15 and up can sign it, and while you're doing that, we need to be advancing in the legal aspect, and then also taking this government to court a lot faster, because we'll need injunctions now that we have everything at hand, and we have a lot more proof. If the people stand behind this, we can get this done. We can clean up this country, stop the reset, and protect our natural resources, and the lands for the indigenous peoples, because they too will lose everything. Some of them have a hard time understanding that, but the treaties will no longer count. They're going to bring us into a financial, economic state of emergency, and we can stop that because they're stopping some of the foods from being grown or whatnot. I don't want to really get into that. That's why I don't want to be specific on this right now, because it's not the purpose of this. The real purpose, what is going to stop everything, is to go at the root cause. And that's what we've been focused on, is the root cause, protecting our country, making sure we have the rights to do what we're doing so that they can't say no. And then every other country can do the same. So hopefully you'll finally get to understand what we are doing. Doing anything else is a waste of time and energy. And that's what I told that gentleman this evening in my email back to him. He can believe me or not. That's his problem. But if he wants to waste his time, hey, he can knock himself out. But it is important that everybody understands that there's only one way out of this, and it's by signing your Convention of Consent, supporting the Canadian People's Union, and signing the getting everybody else to sign with you, and to financially support us so that we can get this done, because UK lawyers are not going to work for free for Canadians. Okay, so we got to make sure that we have everything ready for the UK, whichever way they're going to try to handle this, and the international level as well, the international courts, if the UK does give us a problem. So please, all we're missing is the people, and the rest is going to be easy enough. The hardest part from day one that we went since we've started doing this is the people, because the people seem to think they have certain rights that they don't. They think that they can just tell the government or destitute, remove the government. No, you can't. There's things that have to be done properly, and we can't just take them out like that, but we can bring them to task, and start some legal cases that are going to be a lot faster than the ones that you've seen in the last 2 years. Why? Because the facts are there, and the judges who are going to say, okay, well, let's give a date for this court case, and this is of the essence. Time is of the essence, so they're going to have to really hurry up and look at the stuff, because if they don't uphold the law, somebody else will. And then my point is that I want to launch these court cases in the UK, because it is the UK that holds our charter. It's still in our constitution is still part of the UK legislature, and as long as it still sits there, we are still bound by it. And they've been waiting repeal, but the Canadian government did not do exactly what was supposed to be done in 1982, which was come to the people on both sides, us and the Indigenous nations. So now we can do that by ourselves. We are doing it by ourselves, and then putting the UK on notice. Now we just need to make sure that they do their job. However, the people that were there in 1982 are no longer there, and whoever is there now, however corrupt they are, we will soon find out. And if they are corrupt, then we'll need to go through legal procedures, and then hold the UK responsible, in the UK and at the international level, for the corruption of our Canadian government and what they've done to everybody. So please, the your actions are needed all the time, not just every month. We have more expenses, more things to do, more documents to send out. Lawyers, like the lawyer in the UK, was $22,000 just for 1 week's of reading material. So that money doesn't fall out of trees. We were able to sustain ourselves with memberships, so we really need you to help us with the memberships. Sign up to the C.P.U. We need large numbers. If How can I say, we can only save this country if you do your job. We've done ours, but we can't proceed if you don't do yours. So it's in your hands. Okay, thanks. So I'm going to let you go with that. Please go to the powershift.ca. I couldn't be more prouder than what we've done in Ottawa and everybody that was there, because it marked the official signing of the convention on Parliament Hill, for 3 days. They knew we were there. They gave us a license for it. They even gave us the city issued us a license to do fundraising for it. They can't deny it, and that's the beauty of it. So now we need to also enforce that the government allows us to use, our Canadian funds to be able to go door to door if we have to, or find a way of going door to door and telling people about it, using, Canada Post to be able to send people information from across the country, so that nobody so that everybody gets the information. So now the government, because we filed this, as soon as we have um, enough impact, they will have no choice but to financially assist us with this and to help us set up properly. And then we get veto rights. We don't take away the government, but we have final decision making authority. And that's what we're fighting for. And that's the right that we have. And we can self determine as many times as we want. Okay. So, thanks, Zita. I know you signed a long time ago, but hey, your job doesn't stop with for signing once. It's to go and get everybody else, and that's why everybody needs to get their families on board, because hey, you're richer and more powerful than you know. And eventually, there's great things out there that we can do and turn taxation to dividends. And the minute we get 51% of the people, we can all decide to stop paying taxes and turn that into something else. Okay. Mind you, nothing gets paid on its own, but there's things that can come about with this that can totally change what we've been doing. Well, what the government's been doing. And the government's been doing this to keep the people stuck. Okay. So now we will no longer be stuck. The sky's the limit as to what we can do and produce our own funds for our infrastructure instead of taxing Canadian citizens. So, yes, you are richer and more powerful than you know. You are an equal shareholder, co-owner of the Crown of Canada and the country with the Indigenous nations. So our natural resources will come back to us, because what the government did was a coup d'etat in 1931 and 1982 and did some deals that the Canadian citizens never would have allowed them to do, okay, with our natural resources or the Indigenous nations. So we need to make sure that the Indigenous nations have access to all of their resources as well. So please, the best way for reconciliation is an equal partnership in Canada between the Canadian citizens and the Indigenous nations. Okay. So again, I leave you with that. You can donate on our website. We need all the funds we can get. It doesn't stop at just one-time giving. This is everybody needs to make sacrifices. We've made tons. We're going to keep making sacrifices, and we expect every other Canadian to do the same. There's no excuse. There's something that everybody can do to help this and for us to achieve this. So, your country, your responsibility. Thank you. The PowerShift.ca. Bye bye.